Have you ever walked like this and didn't even know it was dangerous? Head tilted down, arms stiff by your sides, and every step taken with hesitation, as if the ground might betray you at any moment. You're not alone. I've worked with hundreds of older adults over the past decade, and I can tell you, this exact way of walking, the one so many adopt in the name of being careful, is often the very habit that increases the risk of falling. Not because you're weak, not because you're clumsy, but because fear, when it creeps into your walk, changes everything. It tightens your muscles, shortens your stride, and throws off your natural rhythm. Worst of all, it shifts your center of gravity forward, leaving you unbalanced without even realizing it. That's the trap. It feels safe, but it's silently working against you. Most seniors I speak to believe that falling is just part of getting older. But here's what years of working with patients has taught me. Aging doesn't cause you to fall, your response to aging does. And the good news? That response can be changed. That's why in this video, we're going to take a closer look at the invisible habits and movement patterns that could be putting you at risk, and more importantly, how to fix them with a few powerful techniques that don't require special equipment or exhausting routines. You'll also hear the story of Mrs. Yedwiga, a 77-year-old woman who went from being terrified of her own feet to walking confidently down her neighborhood street, one deliberate, steady step at a time. I'll show you how to identify if your current walking style is silently sabotaging your safety, and how a few key adjustments in posture, gaze, and balance can drastically reduce your fall risk and give you back your freedom. So, before we go any further, I want you to pause and think. Have you noticed changes in your walking? Are you looking down more often? Are your steps shorter, stiffer, or less stable than they used to be? If you've answered yes to even one of these, stay with me, because what's coming next could quite literally change how you move through the world. If this message resonates with you already, please comment yes below. I want to know I'm speaking to the people who need this the most. Your comment helps this video reach others who are quietly struggling with the same fear. And if you find this content valuable, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. There's so much more to share: real stories, expert insights, and proven techniques to help you walk stronger, stand taller, and live more independently. Now, in the next section, we're going to uncover the real reasons older adults fall and why most of those reasons are invisible until it's too late. Let's expose them, one by one, and take back control of your steps, your safety, and your confidence. 1. Why older adults are more likely to fall. Most seniors think falls are inevitable. They're not. Let me prove it. That idea, that falling just comes with age, is one of the most dangerous misconceptions I've encountered in over a decade working with older adults. The truth is, most falls aren't caused by aging itself, but by the slow, silent changes happening inside your body, and more importantly, how you react to them. The first hidden culprit is muscle loss. After the age of 60, we begin to lose muscle mass at a steady rate, particularly in the legs, hips, and core, areas that are essential for stability and balance. It's called sarcopenia, and it creeps in quietly. You might not notice it until one day, standing up from a chair takes more effort, or climbing stairs feels heavier. But this gradual weakening means your body has less power to catch itself when something goes wrong. I've had countless patients tell me, "I just lost my balance," or "I tripped on nothing." But in reality, their bodies lack the strength and reaction time to recover from the smallest misstep. And that's only the beginning. Another invisible danger is the subtle change in your posture over time. As we age, the head tends to tilt forward, shoulders round, and the spine curves. This might seem like a minor issue, just a part of getting older, but it's more critical than most realize. When your center of gravity shifts forward, your weight is no longer centered over your feet. You're now walking on the edge of a fall. Your muscles and joints must work harder to keep you upright, and that added strain increases your vulnerability to imbalance. What's more, your visual field narrows. You look down instead of forward, which not only reinforces poor posture but limits your awareness of the environment around you. But here's what breaks my heart the most. After a fall, or even just the fear of one, many older adults begin to move with hesitation. And what seems like caution actually leads to more instability. Your arms stop swinging, your steps become shorter and stiffer, and you begin to look at the ground rather than ahead. You might think, "I'm being careful," but what's really happening is that fear is changing the way you move, turning a protective instinct into a dangerous pattern. One of my clients once said, "I don't walk anymore, I tiptoe through life." That sentence has stayed with me for years, because it reveals something deeper than muscle or posture. It's about what fear steals from us: confidence. autonomy, joy. Then there are the other compounding factors. Vision often declines with age, making it harder to detect changes in surface texture or elevation. Reflexes slow down, meaning even if you do trip, your body may not react quickly enough to save you. Add in poor footwear or poorly adjusted assistive devices, and you've got a perfect storm. And yet, through all of this, the most empowering realization is this: age doesn't decide if you fall. Your habits do. Your posture, your awareness, your ability to engage the right muscles at the right moment. These things can be trained, improved, protected. That's what this video is here to show you. Not to scare you, but to wake you up. Because you have far more control than you think. I've helped many older adults go from fearful and dependent to steady and confident again, not because they became younger, but because they learned how to walk with intention, strength, and awareness. If anything you've heard so far resonates, if you've noticed your steps getting smaller, your posture folding forward, your balance faltering, I want you to know, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. In just a moment, I'm going to introduce you to someone who proves this is possible. Her name is Mrs. Yedwiga. At 77 years old, a single fall changed everything for her. What started as a morning like any other ended in a hospital bed, a broken wrist, and a spirit that nearly gave up. But through patience, guidance, and a few key shifts in how she moved, she rebuilt not just her strength, but her courage. And today, she walks not just with steadiness, but with purpose. Her journey is one that could change how you see your own. So please, stay with me. Because what you're about to hear next might be the most important story you've heard in years. It begins, like all great things, with a single step. 2. The story of Mrs. Yedwiga. Her name is Mrs. Yedwiga. And like many of my patients, she didn't think much about the way she walked until the day everything changed. She was 77 when it happened. It was a quiet, ordinary morning in her small apartment. The same space she had lived in for over 30 years. She moved through her morning routine like she always did, watering her plants, preparing tea, humming softly to herself. There was no sign, no warning. Just one small moment, a slight twist of the body, a quick reach toward the kettle, and then a fall. Hard, fast, unforgiving. She told me later she didn't even remember hitting the floor. Just the pain, the fear, the helplessness. Her wrist was fractured, her hip bruised, but the most lasting injury wasn't something an X-ray could show. It was the silence that followed. The weeks in the hospital, the feeling that she was suddenly breakable, fragile, like a vase that had been dropped once and could never be trusted again. When she came home, everything had changed. The woman who used to host tea for her neighbors, who went to the local senior club twice a week, who loved her afternoon strolls, stopped going out. The world outside her apartment now felt like a threat. Every crack in the pavement, every set of stairs, every breeze, it all seemed capable of knocking her down. And slowly, day by day, she began to retreat. Not just physically, but emotionally. She said no to invitations. She kept the blinds drawn. Her world, once full of light and laughter, dimmed into quiet isolation. Her children tried to help. They encouraged her to go out, to exercise, to come to family events. But nothing worked. Because here's something I've learned. You can't simply tell someone to stop being afraid. You have to help them remember what it feels like to be strong. And that's where Lucia came in, a soft-spoken, fiercely skilled physical therapist who had worked with dozens of fall survivors. I remember Lucia telling me, this isn't just about mobility. It's about restoring dignity. And she was right. When Lucia met Mrs. Yedwiga, she didn't start with exercises. She started with conversation. She listened. She watched. She noticed that every time Yedwiga walked, she wasn't really moving, she was bracing. Her steps were short, rigid. Her eyes were glued to the floor. Her arms hung limp, stiff at her sides. Her entire body said, I'm not sure I can do this. Lucia began with one simple goal, awareness. She didn't ask for more steps. She asked for better ones. Together, they worked on posture, lifting the head, opening the shoulders, gently aligning the spine. Then came breath work, deep, slow, stabilizing breaths to calm the nervous system and anchor the body. Then balance, standing on one foot while holding onto a chair, slowly shifting weight from side to side. There were no fast wins, no dramatic transformations, just quiet, steady progress. A few steps in the hallway, then down the apartment corridor. Then, one day, down the front steps, just two of them, but they felt like mountains conquered. And then came the walk to the bakery, the same bakery she used to visit every Sunday. That day she stood taller. Her stride had rhythm. Her arms swung gently at her sides. Her eyes, once so afraid, looked forward again. And when she came back with warm bread in her hands, she wasn't smiling out of politeness. She was glowing with pride. "I did it," she whispered. "I walked." It wasn't about the bread. It wasn't even about walking. It was about reclaiming her life. What I want you to take from Mrs. Jedwiga's story isn't just hope. It's instruction. Her recovery wasn't magic. It wasn't luck. It was movement with awareness. It was understanding that the way we walk can heal or harm, depending on whether we walk with fear or with focus. She didn't just learn to walk again. She learned to walk right. This is what I want for you. Because if a 77-year-old woman who once lay broken on the floor can get back up and face the world again, you can too. Backhand index pointing right if her story touched you. If you felt like her, even for a moment, please leave a comment below. Just say, "I see myself in her," or "That was me," because someone else reading that comment may finally feel less alone. And maybe, just maybe, more willing to try again. And now that you've seen what's possible, let me show you how. In the next section, I'll guide you through a simple self-assessment, a way to check your own walking habits for signs of imbalance, tension, or risk. You won't need any tools, just a moment of honesty and a few questions that could change how you move from this day forward. Let's take that step together. 3. Self-diagnosis. How's your walking? Let me ask you something. How's your walking these days? I know, it sounds like such a basic question, but I've learned over the years that what seems simple often holds the most important answers. Walking isn't just something we do to get from one place to another. For older adults, it can be the line between independence and dependence, between freedom and fear. So let's pause, just for a moment, and get really honest. When was the last time you truly paid attention to how you walk? Not how far, not how fast, but how. Because the way you move through the world tells me more about your health, confidence, and future than almost any chart or number ever could. And right now, I want to help you see what I see. This isn't a diagnosis, it's a self-check, a private moment of awareness. There's no pressure, no judgment, no one watching, just you, your body, and a few questions that could quietly reveal more than you realize. So take a breath and read these slowly. Do you find yourself dragging your feet instead of lifting them cleanly off the ground? When you walk, are your eyes focused on the floor instead of looking straight ahead? Are your steps short and stiff, like your body's holding back? Do your shoulders slump forward as if you're carrying a weight? Do your arms stay locked by your sides, barely moving? Is it getting harder to turn or change direction? Are you holding onto furniture or walls at home just to feel steady? Have you started avoiding walks in public because of fear you might fall? If you answered yes to even 2 of these, that's not weakness, it's a signal, a red flag. And it's one I want you to pay attention to, not because I want to alarm you, but because I know from experience, the sooner we notice, the sooner we can act. These little habits may seem harmless, but they quietly rewire your body to move in ways that increase your risk of falling. And the longer they continue unchecked, the more deeply ingrained they become. But here's the empowering truth. Those habits can be changed. Walking, after all, is not just a natural function, it's a learned skill. And as with any skill, it can be refined at any age. You just have to become aware of what your body is doing and why. Often, these changes begin with fear. Maybe you had a fall. Maybe you heard about someone else who did. Maybe you just started feeling unsteady and thought, "I better walk carefully." And in doing so, you started walking with your body tense, your steps hesitant, your eyes scanning the floor for danger. But that fear, while understandable, often leads to exactly what you're trying to avoid. It disrupts your balance. It shortens your stride. It throws off your center of gravity. And slowly, without meaning to, you begin walking in a way that works against your body, not with it. Think of it like music. A good walk has rhythm, flow, coordination. But once fear steps in, the rhythm breaks. The orchestra is out of sync. The tempo slows. That's when falls happen. The good news? You can bring back the rhythm. You can teach your body how to move with awareness, confidence, and control. But first, you need to know where you stand. So I ask you, which of those signs above do you relate to? If even one stood out, I invite you to leave a comment below. Share the number that hit home. Not for me, for the person reading your words who realizes they're not alone. Because you're not. I've seen hundreds of older adults face these exact same signs, and I've seen them turn things around. You are not broken. You are not too late. Your body isn't failing. It's just waiting to be reconnected with. Because the most dangerous step isn't the one that makes you fall. It's the one you don't realize you're taking wrong. And in the next part of this journey, I'll show you exactly how to fix it. We're going to talk about what I call the conscious walk, a technique that restores natural balance, engages stabilizing muscles, improves posture, and brings back your confidence with every step. No equipment, no pressure, just small changes that lead to powerful results. So if you're ready to move better, feel steadier, and take your independence back, stay with me. Because the next step we take together might just be the most important one yet. The right way to walk, rebuilding confidence, one step at a time. Now that you've taken a moment to reflect on how you walk, it's time to talk about something incredibly important: how to walk the right way. Because when I say you can change your future one step at a time, I mean it, literally. Walking is something we do every day without thinking. But for older adults, walking without thinking is often where the danger lies. If you've noticed yourself moving more cautiously, with hesitation or stiffness, that's your body signaling it needs support. And what it needs is not just strength, but alignment, awareness, and intention. Over the years, I've helped hundreds of people relearn how to walk. People who were once afraid to leave their homes, who had lost their confidence after a fall, or who simply felt off balance, but couldn't explain why. And do you know where we always start? Not with distance, not with speed, but with presence. Because when you start walking with purpose, your body remembers how to protect you. Let me show you how. First, let's start with posture. I want you to imagine there's a string gently pulling you upward from the crown of your head. Let it lift you, not in a forced, rigid way, but in a soft, supportive stretch. Feel your spine lengthen. Let your chest open. Allow your shoulders to gently roll back and down. Posture isn't just about looking upright. It's about returning your body's center of gravity to where it belongs, above your base of support. When your posture is aligned, everything else has a foundation to function better. Next, bring your eyes forward. I tell my patients to gaze about 8 to 10 feet ahead of them, not at their feet, not at the floor. Why? Because your eyes are your guide. When you look down constantly, your neck tilts, your shoulders cave in, and your entire upper body shifts forward. This pulls your weight off center, creating instability. When your gaze is forward, your head lifts, your spine aligns, and your balance begins to recalibrate naturally. Now, let's talk about your arms. If you've been holding them tight or stiff by your sides, it's time to set them free. Your arms aren't just passengers, they're partners in movement. Allow them to swing gently with your stride, opposite of your legs. Right leg forward, left arm swings, and vice versa. This gentle motion helps stabilize your trunk, improves rhythm, and even assists in coordinating your brain's left and right hemispheres. It's like giving your body a natural metronome. And here's a key principle: heel to toe. Each step should begin with your heel striking the ground first, followed by the sole, and finishing with the toes pushing off. This sequence absorbs shock, allows for smoother transitions, and engages the muscles in your calves, thighs, and hips. It might feel strange at first, especially if you've been shuffling or walking flat-footed, but with practice, it becomes fluid, intentional, secure. Let's not forget your feet placement. Keep your feet parallel, about shoulder width apart. This provides a stable base and keeps your knees and hips aligned. Avoid crossing your feet or walking with them too close together. This narrows your balance zone and increases fall risk. Think of your feet as the foundation of a house. Too narrow, and everything above wobbles. The right stance gives your entire body confidence to move forward. And finally, rhythm. Your walk should have a tempo, a beat that your body recognizes. Not rushed, not sluggish, just steady, step by step, one breath, one stride. I often tell patients, don't walk to finish, walk to connect. Because walking with rhythm isn't just safer, it's calming. It brings your mind and body into sync, grounding you in the present moment. You might be wondering, but what if I've been walking wrong for years? Let me reassure you, it's never too late to adjust. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, exists well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. I've worked with people in their late 80s who, after practicing this conscious walk for just a few weeks, reported feeling more stable than they had in years. Backhand index pointing right, and if you're still reading and ready to try this for yourself, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below with the words, "I'm ready to walk better." You might be amazed how something that simple can shift your mindset and encourage someone else to begin their journey too. Now, I know this might feel like a lot to remember. Posture, gaze, arm swing, heel to toe, foot position, rhythm. But don't worry, we're not stopping here. In the next section, I'll walk you through 5 practical exercises that reinforce everything we just discussed. These are gentle, safe movements you can do right at home. No gym, no equipment, just small steps, literally, that help your body integrate this new walking style. Because knowledge is powerful, but action? That's what changes lives. Let's take this from theory to movement. I'll see you in the next step. Practical exercises to reinforce safe walking. Now that you've learned how to walk with better posture, balance, and awareness, the next step is to train your body to make those movements feel natural, automatic. And that's exactly what this section is about. Simple, effective exercises that reinforce your new walking style and help your muscles, joints, and brain work together to support every step you take. I've seen these exercises work wonders for people who once believed they were too old or too weak to change. But after just a few minutes a day, over a few weeks, they began to feel stronger, more confident, and most importantly, safe. You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need your body, a chair for support, and a little space to move. Let's begin with one of the most powerful exercises I teach, the single leg stand. Stand tall, facing a sturdy chair or countertop, and place your hands gently for balance. Slowly lift one foot off the ground and hold the position for 10 seconds. Focus on keeping your spine straight, your core engaged, and your gaze forward, not down. Then switch legs. This simple act of balancing on one leg activates the stabilizing muscles in your ankles, knees, and hips, the same muscles that protect you when you stumble or shift suddenly. Repeat this 3 times per leg, and over time, your body will begin to respond more quickly and more confidently. Next, we'll move into alternating knee lifts. Still holding the chair, lift your right knee to about hip height, pause, then lower with control. Then lift your left knee. This helps train your body to lift your feet while walking, reducing the risk of tripping or dragging. It also strengthens your hip flexors and reinforces proper stride mechanics. Aim for 10 repetitions per leg, moving slowly and deliberately. Then we focus on one of the most neglected yet essential parts of the walking chain, your calves. Heel-to-toe raises are simple but incredibly effective. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart, hold onto the back of a chair, and slowly raise your heels off the ground so you're balancing on the balls of your feet. Then slowly lower back down. This exercise strengthens your calves, improves circulation, and builds ankle stability. Do 2 sets of 10 to start. You'll be surprised how much of your balance depends on the strength and control of these small muscles. Once your muscles are awake, we'll bring it all together with straight line walking. Find a hallway or a clear space. Walk in a straight line, placing one foot directly in front of the other, maintaining posture, gaze, and arm swing just like we practiced. This reinforces everything you've learned so far and helps you develop consistency in your walking mechanics. Try this for 2 minutes at a time. It's like building muscle memory for your balance. And to finish, let's add an exercise that connects everything: body, breath, and presence. Stand tall with feet slightly apart. Close your eyes if you feel stable, and take a slow, deep breath. As you inhale, imagine your spine lengthening, your chest opening. As you exhale, release any tension in your shoulders, neck, and face. Do this for 1 minute. This isn't just relaxation, it's posture training. The breath brings your awareness back into your body and allows your nervous system to shift from tension to ease, which is essential for calm, coordinated movement. Now, if any of these movements felt challenging or unfamiliar, that's okay. It's not about perfection. It's about repetition. Because when you do these daily, even just 5 to 10 minutes, you are literally rewiring your brain to walk better. You're teaching your muscles how to stabilize. You're reminding your body how to move with intention. And slowly, those exercises become habits, and those habits become confidence. I've seen people go from needing to hold walls in their own homes to walking down their driveways unassisted, all because they committed to a few minutes a day. So if you're still with me, I want you to comment below. I'm doing the work. Not because you owe me anything, but because you owe it to yourself to say it out loud. That's how change begins, with a decision and a declaration. And now that you've started to strengthen the physical foundation, the next step is understanding what this new way of walking will do for you, not just in how you move, but how you live. In the final section, I'll share the lasting benefits of walking with strength and awareness: better balance, reduced pain, deeper breath, and a sense of freedom that most people think disappears with age. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to. So let's keep going. You've made it to the end, and that says a lot about who you are. It tells me you care about your health, that you're curious, that deep down, even if you've been through setbacks, falls, or moments of fear, you still believe in the possibility of change. And you should, Because what we've talked about here today isn't just about walking. It's about reclaiming your balance, your freedom, and your trust in your own body, one step at a time. You see, I've worked with older adults long enough to know that the biggest changes don't come from dramatic breakthroughs or overnight miracles. They come from the smallest shifts, practiced with consistency and belief. A straighter posture, a lifted gaze, a longer stride, a single step done with confidence. These may seem minor in the moment, but they add up. And over time, they can redefine what your daily life looks like. They can mean the difference between avoiding the outdoors and walking to the store by yourself, between relying on others and regaining your independence. I can't count the number of patients who once told me, "I think my best years are behind me," only to return a few months later saying, "I feel like myself again." And the truth is, they didn't become younger. They didn't need perfect health or perfect conditions. What they needed was awareness, guidance, and a reason to keep going. And now, you have all three. The exercises you've just learned aren't just routines. They're building blocks. Every time you practice them, you're not just strengthening muscles. You're building neural pathways that reconnect your body and brain. You're retraining your balance system. You're reminding your joints how to stabilize. And most importantly, you're telling your mind, "I am not done yet." Because you're not. The ability to move with confidence isn't something reserved for the young. It's available to anyone willing to show up for themselves, willing to try again, even after a fall. And if you've ever doubted that, I want you to hold on to one simple truth. Every powerful transformation begins with a single decision. And you've already made that choice by being here. So what happens next? You keep going. Maybe you start by repeating these exercises 3 times a week. Maybe you invite a friend to do them with you. Maybe you film yourself walking, just to see how far you've come in a month. Whatever your path looks like, just know, it's valid. It's enough. And it's already a step ahead of where you were yesterday. And if you've been following this video and trying the steps with me, I'd love to know, what changed for you? Did your posture feel taller? Did you feel more balanced? More connected to your movements? Or maybe you simply felt hopeful again. That's a win in itself. Backhand index pointing right, please take a moment right now and share your experience in the comments. It could be one sentence, one word, or one realization that stood out to you. Because when you share, you're not just telling your story, you're lighting the way for someone else. Someone who might be watching this video feeling alone, afraid, or uncertain. Your words could be the reason they decide to try. And if you found value in this video, if something here helped you feel more empowered, even just a little, I kindly ask you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Your support helps me continue creating content designed specifically for older adults like you. No fluff, no pressure, just real tools, real encouragement, and a community that wants you to succeed. And speaking of community, I want you to remember that you're part of something bigger now. Every time you take care of your health, every time you choose to move instead of shrink, you're not just helping yourself, you're challenging a narrative. You're showing the world that aging isn't about slowing down. It's about rising up. With wisdom, with grace, with strength born from experience. So from me to you, thank you. Thank you for walking this journey with me, for being open, for showing up, and for believing that there's more ahead than behind. Because there is. And if you're ready for the next step, we're just getting started. There are more videos waiting for you on leg strength, fall-proofing your home, breathing for stability, and more. You can check them out right after this one. But for now, I hope you pause for just a second. Breathe, stand tall, and feel proud of what you've just done. One small step, one big change. That's how it starts.